Smashing Pumpkins were a band from 1988 to 2000. And then from 2000 to 2006, they weren't a band. But from 2006 to now, they are a band again. They're fronted by a guy called Billy Corgan, and they've had some changes over the years. I think he's the only original member who is left. Maybe not quite sure about that. So my favourite is Jimmy Chamberlin, who was a drummer with them, who was with them from 1988 to 1986, and then from 1998 to 2000, and then from 2006 to 2009, and again from 2015 to present. So he's definitely been in and out and shaking it all about somewhat. They had 6 albums before their break, which was 2000 to 2006, and they've had 7 albums since then. Oh, and they're American. They originated originally in Chicago. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the 4th album by the Smashing Pumpkins, and I would describe this as being kind of alt rock, I guess, a bit kind of reminiscent to me of some bits of Britpop, and maybe a bit kind of in somewhere tending towards the shoegaze area. And I'll try and kind of pick that apart and do a bit of description. So it's kind of rock, definitely. It's got big, what I think of as curtains of backing. It's got textures in it. The rhythms and structures are a bit like some of the Britpop stuff. Particularly, I'm reminded of some of the songs off Blur's album Parklife, which are not the kind of well-known songs, but the kind of middle-paced songs in there. The guy's voice sounds a little bit like Oasis at times, to the extent that I was mildly surprised when I read up and found that they're American, not British. And then they use some grooves which are kind of similar to, again, to some of the Britpop stuff that was around in the 90s. I would say it's not, well, I mean, it's definitely not ambient, but it's certainly somewhat lacking in things that draw the attention. It's the kind of music that sits in the corner in the kitchen at a party. It's lacking, I'm not sure lacking is the right word, but it doesn't tend to have solos. It doesn't tend to have hook lines so much. It's just more kind of textures that you get. The vocals similarly are kind of unassuming. Sometimes they're quite down in the mix. So this is what I mean when I'm kind of saying it's a bit shoegazy. It's not kind of full on, kind of really, kind of the washy stuff that you get in shoegaze that just really doesn't, grab the attention at all. And I think there's definitely a thing, this kind of idea that a lot of music for many, many years has been, it has to grab your attention. It has to have something that you can focus on all the time. And then there's been a move away from that in certain types of music. So definitely dream pop does the shoegaze I mentioned. When ambient is the most extreme kind of music that's like this, that just has very little you can focus on. And the idea is you don't actually listen to it actively, but let it pass you by more. Some kind of goth stuff, I think, is a bit like that as well. So it kind of, I think I understand this thing, but I have to say I found it vaguely disappointing, really. Maybe it was the lack of attention stuff. Maybe I'm just, demand more at my music, and I haven't got the subtlety to understand that. What's going on here, but I wasn't that bothered. There were some songs that were better, as is always the case. I felt like towards the end of the album it picked up. There was some particular track, I think it's Behold the Nightmare, which had quite a few sections and changed as it went through, and I found that more interesting. But kind of, settled in. The first couple of tracks were maybe all right. And then it just kind of seemed to be quite a lots of, each track's different, but lots of kind of, here's a block of this texture, then here's a block of this texture. The album just goes on and on. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long. So, yeah. I listen twice. I usually do to these albums when I'm reviewing. And after the first time, I thought, I'm going to have to concentrate more and listen again and try and pick out more. So the second time I did, I gave it more attention, but I didn't really still get that much out of it. So it's all right. It's perfectly fine music to have on in the background, I would say, but I'm really not that excited by it. I'd love to know what you think, and particularly if you disagree with me. I know I hope people who watch me quite a bit know by now that I enjoy when people tell me that they think it's better than I think it is. So please do that, or agree with me, or whatever you want to do, using the comments box. That's it from me for now.
All you have to do is write